Hi,
Hey
Brittany.
Ryan, how's it going?
It's awesome because it is 73 degrees here today. And as like a double bonus, our AI Era 2 tickets are on sale. And I just got a Stripe notification that says we just sold one.
Oh, look at that!
So,
And
like,
we did not plan for that. That is a legitimate thing that you just said. That was not. I just got one too. Look at that. Yes,
look
so
at
they
that. I
are
mean,
live.
we we were over half sold before we, just in our community before we opened it up to the public. And well, it's not selling as fast as Noah Khan tickets. I do have a feeling there's going to be a secondary market for these tickets. I'm not sure how we deal with that. Do we have like preferred resale, or do we
I know,
cap
right?
it?
Well, I don't know. That whole Ticketmaster Live Nation lawsuit got settled, so they didn't. We didn't really get a good outcome there. So, unfortunately, I'm not sure what the resale situation is for these. But the good news is, I do have it set up that there will be a wait list if you are looking for in-person tickets and you miss out on the select few we have, because we really aren't lying when we say limited quantities for in person. We really are keeping it to about 120 people in person for the event. And like Ryan said, we're not exaggerating when we've already sold about half of that in our community already. So yeah, we really only have about 60 seats left to get in there in person. Thankfully, you do have a virtual option this year. So for those that miss out, you still have some options, but in person is really where the value seems to be for that event.
Well, it's going to be awesome. Charleston's going to be awesome. We're looking at trying to get, who's got the best barbecue in Charleston. I have a feeling we may rent out a restaurant. Like that may be an extra thing we add on, because why not? Charleston is a great food city. K-Status folks were also talking about some kind of like clam bake or something that they do that sounds like really wild.
On the beach, right? Or something they were talking about. Was that
Yeah,
what it
but I
was?
think they can
Yeah,
bring it to, like, where the case
of
status
course.
thing is.
Yeah.
So, I think, Brittany, we're probably gonna have to take a trip down to Charleston and just try some restaurants and try this sort of, like, seafood by the beach thing or whatever.
Yeah, that seems like a safe bet.
Eh
And someone had asked me, if these were early bird, prices and deals, and because we haven't announced speakers and lineup and stuff. And unfortunately, like I said, we only have a limited number in here, so we said said no early birds. Everyone is gonna uh, have to fight for the same price tickets, but we appreciate that, even without a lineup yet, people understand that we will deliver. We promise we will deliver with a huge, huge variety of speakers and topics, and you're going to walk away with a lot.
Yeah, and, last time we did it, it was the first time we did it. We had no idea if anybody would want to come. And the fun thing is we did have early bird pricing, but
Yeah,
we sold out
we
before we
sold
got to
out.
regular pricing.
Right.
So this time we're just like, "Oh, this is what it is, and it will sell out based upon the strength of the event." Last time we had like an 86 net promoter score from 100 attendees, all of whom are critical lawyers and wouldn't hesitate to tell us if we didn't do a good job and provide a lot of value on the event. And one of the things that we did get a 5 on was from a lawyer who said, look, this felt a little too advanced.
Hmm.
I need to understand some of the basics. And that led to us launching Basecamp, which, the space is moving so fast and so quickly that, we're going to have a Basecamp probably in October to just get people up to speed on sort of like the state of AI. And that's going to be a 1 day, all online, virtual thing that I'm going to be teaching, probably bring in some other people just to talk about the fundamentals of AI in law practice, which I think is going to be valuable in its own right, but especially valuable to attendees. So when they get there, it's like they have some background as to the different products and the different things and some of the different terminology that may be used. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited to see it selling. So
Yeah, I think people understand the value in that. Yeah, we definitely got several people who, um, they're happy about it, but certainly after the event, they said, "Okay, I'm a little tired, right? I'm a little overwhelmed by everything I just learned." In a good way, they were energized by it, but it's a lot, and especially when you have to hop right back into your busy law firms the next week, and you're all jazzed up and hopped up on everything you just learned, and you want to bring it back to its full value, but yeah, it's just a lot. So yeah, hopefully things like the base camp can add that layer of knowledge that the attendees can bring back to their teams, and make it even easier to actually implement all the things that they're going to learn and build and try into the firms, when they come back that next week.
Charleston is one of my favorite cities in the US. I think it's an amazing food city. It's right on the coast. It's southern, it's clean, it's got great architecture, art, bar, like just I think one of the most fantastic cities in the US. My advice, like we're doing this like on a Thursday and Friday. Look, a lot of people and I like look, I get it. I'm a parent. They're going to want to get home on Friday night. And we're going to schedule with that and, make it do that. Stay until Sunday in Charleston and go up to a rooftop bar, break out your laptop, and just play with some of the things that you have implemented. Go for a walk around Charleston, get inspired, think about some things, right? And it's southern, so it's like a slower pace than we're used to up here in New England. And I think embracing some of that, if you can extend, like, look, we're not doing any events on Saturday or Sunday. We get pretty exhausted from hosting these things. But if you can at all do it, take your spouse, partner, friend. I know we had one of our community members saying her sister's coming and she's meeting
Mhm.
her sister down there, sister, brother, whoever, and spend that Saturday in Charleston. Pull up to a coffee shop, take out your laptop, and I think learn and build just, some of the things that you have heard because, yeah, Monday's going to come and you're going to get busy and this is sort of going to change. And I think one of the wildest things about, planning for this event is AI is changing so rapidly right now. And so it's like, okay, if I'm like, I'm going to have a session right now on Claude Code, which you and I were just playing with, and I've been playing with all week and weekend and building sort of fun things internally for Best Era that are useful to us you know, in 3 months, like, that may not even be the thing. Like, essentially, I mean, Dan Schnurbush gave this great talk last year all about MCP servers and Zapier, and all of that is somewhat still relevant, but what Claude Code does is, like, it even eliminates that small level of friction, right? So the challenge and the opportunity for law firm owners is, isn't the tech so much anymore. It's even
Mhm.
easier than it was when we did it the last time. It is how do I think about it? Where am I going to get value and mileage from implementing it? How do I train my team to use it? What is out there that can make this easier? Can I use just a generic product like Gemini or ChatGPT, or should I be using a legal specific product like Supio or Harvey or Spellbook or one of these? you know where is the value, and also like how do I train my people? And also I think like the big thing is, you know like this morning, Brittany, I one of the things that we're looking at doing, because we get a lot of questions about this, is I'm thinking about teaching my Yukon class, but probably condensing it into a day because I we've talked about 2 or 3 or 4 days, and it's just like, well, that is too much. So we're thinking about doing it in a day. So last semester I used my Plod Note. I made recordings of every class that I did and I uploaded all the transcripts to a folder in Claude Cowork. I created a sample chapter in my voice. I said I want it to be about 5,000 words, have subheadings. I want you to use my lecture. I had a skill in Claude where I downloaded all of my prior LinkedIn posts so it captures my voice and
Mhm.
doesn't use M dashes or write in flowery language that I don't use, right? And I pointed Claude Cowork at the folder of these transcripts, and I was like, I want you to turn this into a book for law students that I can use next year. Within an hour, it processed all that. Like it took things that were in PDF, made them into Word, it read the things, it organized, it wrote. And was there some prompting along the way that I had to do? Because it would ask me questions. Do you want this or this?
Mhm.
And then it would look at it and I would say, well, no, this is all bold. The font's weird. I only want the subheaders bold, and it would really start to do this, right? And so that is sort of the promise of agentic AI, which is the ability for your computer to do things autonomously or semi-autonomously. And the sky is the limit on how you can build that. And so, you know, my suggestion to anybody is, go and just play with Cloud Code and Cloud Cowork, and you can't break it, just have it do different things. But it's a challenge for an AI event because I'm almost like, this is moving so fast. Have we moved into a post AI era? Like, are
Mhm.
we at that point where it's like so much of what we're going to talk about is like, okay, you turned out a book,
Mhm.
right, this morning based upon, work that I had done. Now what do I do with the rest of my day? Because that is a project that legit, if I had done it and written it myself, would have taken me
I
200
mean,
hours,
yeah.
100 hours, some great amount of time, and it's done before I finish having coffee and listen to a Noah Kahn record. Like, what do I do with that? What do I do with that bandwidth? What is the best use of my time? And also, what does it mean when somebody who is a competitor, say, can do the same thing, right? Does it devalue the book? Does it devalue the thought? And where is the value? So, it's one of these things.